Hello, this is Dr. Priti Johnpy from the Department of English, Carmel College, Mala. Welcome again to the next session on Readings on Kerala. Today's topic is Kunchan Nambiar's GHOSHAYATRA. Kunchan Nambiar is believed to have been born at Calcutta Veedu at Kudlikupshi Mangalam in Palakkad district. Most of his works were written for use in Tullal performances. Let's see what's the relationship between Nambiar and other artistic performance Tullal. Autumn Tullal or Autumn Tullal is a recite and dance art form of Kerala introduced in the 18th century by Kunchan Nambiar. This foxy performance is often laced with humor intended at criticism of society. Nambiar parodies the ways of landlords and other prominent citizens, sometimes even the king. Tullal is accompanied by a mridangam and a dekka, besides a pair of ilathalam cymbals. Popular belief is that Nambiar devised this art form for avenging or revenging the ridicule he had to suffer from a Chakyakut performer. The Chakyakut performer has chastised Nambiar when he dozed off while accompanying the Kuthu performance on Miraval. Nambiar used pure Malayalam as opposed to the stylized and Sanskritized Malayalam language of Chakyakuttu. There are three kinds of Tullal, distinguished on the basis of the performer's costume and the style of rendering, namely Ottantullal, Shidangantullal, and Parayantullal. So let's move on to the setting and the context of Ghoshayatra by Kunchan Nambiar. The Ghoshayatra Bhava is taken from the Vanabhava, which is also known as the Book of the Forest. It is the third of 18 Bhavas in the Indian epic Mahabharata. The Ghoshayatra Bhava, the term means expedition to the cowherd assembly section. This is a section and an episode of the epic Mahabharata, which consists of 519 slokas. This is named after the episode in which the Kauravas undertake an expedition to see the cowherds of Dvaitavana, a forest where the Pandavas reside during their exile. Duryodhana is done under the pretext of cattle inspection, but with the ulterior motive of humiliating their cousins. During the course of the episode, the Kauravas are captured by the Gandharvas and are released from their captivity by the Pandavas. Duryodhana finds the outcome of this entire affair embarrassing and resolves to fast to death until he is dissuaded from this course of action. Instead, he hopes to return to Hastinapura to perform a sacrifice. So the title Ghoshayatra refers to pastures where cattle and cattle herders live together. The present extract got two parts. Part 1, in part 1 we see the messenger of Duryodhana coming back to him to report regarding Pandava's stay at Dvaitavana or Dvaita woods. In the second part, we find Duryodhana's lashing out at the messenger, stating that he should consider joining the Pandavas at Dvaitavana because enemies are better than friends who are kind towards the enemies. So let's move on to the expert. Hear, O brave, hear. Hear and thus have peace of mind. Those adorned with the blessings of the Gurus are blessed for life. Despair touches them not, O king. Hear. merely leave the Pandavas even in the depths of the forest without any inkling of sorrow. Along with the benign sages, calmly do they dwell in Dvaita woods. Here, no desire of yours affected or touched them, their refuge being the feet of the benevolent foe of Inferno. So, in this part 2, which begins with Hear, O brave, hear, O brave king, hear and thus have peace of mind. So, you should have peace of mind. Those adorned means blessed, with the blessings of the gurus or the intellectuals or the teachers are blessed for life. The Pandavas are blessed for life. Despair or misery touches them not, O king. Merrily or happily leave the Pandavas even in the depths of the forest, even in the deep forest, without any inkling of sorrow, without any indication of sorrow, along with the benign sages or along with the kind sages or the gurus, calmly, very peacefully do they dwell or stay in Dvaita woods or Dvaita Vana. Here, the Duryodhana's messenger, he comes back to him to report regarding Pandava's stay at Dvaita Vana, addressing Duryodhana as a brave king. He told Duryodhana that Pandavas are happily and peacefully living in the deep forest with kind sages or gurus and are blessed with their blessings. No deceit of yours affected or touched them, their refuge being the feet of the benevolent foe Inferno. So, uh, Pandavas will not be affected or harmed by any deceit or betrayal of Kauravas because they have got the refuge being the feet to the benevolent foe of Inferno, because they have got the refuge of Lord Sri Krishna, the incarnation of Mahavishnu, the benevolent foe of Inferno, or the compassionate enemy of hell. Here, you have to note that benevolent foe is used here as an oxymoron. Oxymoron means it's a figure of speech in which contradicting ideas or images are combined. For example, vanquished victor. Vanquish means defeat. Victor again suggests victory. That is, in this oxymoron, we find two contradicting images are combined. That is, vanquish victor, one who finds victory in defeat. Just like that, here benevolent foe of in the poem benevolent foe of Inferno is used. Benevolent foe refers to, benevolent means very kind, foe means enemy. So here it is used as a compassionate enemy, which itself is two images, contradicting ideas are combined. So the figure of speech is oxymoron. In the second part, we find when sent on a mission, limit yourself to that, do nothing more. Hey, you brute of a man, try not to fool me slyly. Side with the able Pandavas, you really must. The one who dines from my feast dares to ally himself with foes and pontificate brazenly on my vices and their virtues. Happily, you should go over to them and sustain yourself on berries and fruits, for enemies prove yourself than allies who are gently generous to enemies. Here, Duryodhana lashes out at the messenger, stating that when sent on a mission, limit yourself to that. That is, if he sent on a mission, he should restrict himself to that mission. Hey, you, brute of a man, try not to fool me slyly. He adds that messenger is a brute who has sided with Pandavas to try to fool him in a deceitful manner, in a sly manner. Side with the able Pandavas, you really must. Here, uh, the messenger has done the opposite of what expected from him. So he should consider joining the Pandavas at Dvaida woods. The one who dines from a feast dares to ally himself with my foes and pontificate brazenly on my vices and their virtues. The one who dines from my feast. The messenger here thrives on Kauravas, dares to ally himself, dares to make friendship himself with my foes, with his enemies. That is, he thrives on Kauravas but sides with the Pandavas and pontificate brazenly on my vices and their virtues. The messenger shamelessly expresses his opinion in a pontificate manner or in a pompous and dogmatic way on Kaurava's vices, or rather Duryodhana's vices and Pandava's virtues. Happily, by any chance, you should go over to them. The messenger should go over to Pandavas and sustain yourself or thrive yourself on berries and fruits or on fruits and berries. For that is because enemies prove useful than allies who are genuinely generous to enemies. The messenger can go to Pandavas, thriving on fruits and berries of the forest by working hard towards their interest. As long as it also serves his own, the messenger can give the appearance of being a trusted confidant of Kauravas, because enemies are better than friends who are kind towards the enemies. That's how it ends. To conclude, Kunchan Nambiar's GHOSHAYATRA does not simply narrate the chain of events from the epic Mahabharata. Instead, the poet superimposes the cultural and social scenario of the 18th century Kerala and satirizes both. Here, Duryodhana is cast as a local king in Kerala with an army of Naya soldiers who are anything but valiant. The soldiers eat a lot, spend time with their wives, and generally laze around. The king, although fed up with his army and his doings, understands that hunger is a powerful driving factor for everybody. Thus, Kunchan Nambiar's poems meant for Tulal performance are often laced with humor intended at criticism of society. Nambiar parodies the ways of landlords and other prominent citizens, and sometimes even does not spare the king. Thank you. Thank you for the time being.